the good news about winning a Pulitzer is it does make you feel more fearless, which I think we need. Because what's happened recently as I've gotten even bolder, and it's like, okay, is that now I face harassment from two countries. My country of my birth, Mexico, and my country, the one that I chose to become a citizen of, which is the United States. So because of my reporting, doing deep criticism of the current Mexican president and his collaboration with the Trump administration, that reporting, which we call the moving border, got it so that when I landed in Mexico in November of 2020, after our story had run, Mexican immigration officials took away my American passport and put me in the back room for 45 minutes. That's what it feels like. And then what it feels like more recently is just a month or two ago, I was denied global access, global entry. You know, TSA, global entry, they denied it. So as Julio says, it's like your own country is telling you that you're not part of this country. And I hadn't really thought about it in that way, but yeah. And that's because guess who stamps global entry? It's the Border Patrol. Who is in my target? The Border Patrol. Why? Because it is the largest law enforcement agency in the United States of America that happens to be majority Latino and Latina. With so little oversight. And the levels of corruption inside the Border Patrol are extraordinary. So I'm not surprised that me deciding to take on the Border Patrol would end up with me being harassed by my own government. Thankfully, there is something called social media, and so I already put out one video, and I think today I'm going to put out another one that's just going to be like, that's right, this is what it looks like to be somebody who is considered a threat to this country. Answer me that. In this point in my career, I never thought that I would end up taking on another major institution, which is the DEA. Like, I was like, seriously? But the question about telling a good story and how to find a way to tell a good story and how we have to kind of go to those basics, and they live in local, obviously, in local settings, is kind of coming upon the story of Genaro Garcia Luna. And if you're like, Genaro who, what? Just listen to our podcast. It's called USA versus Garcia Luna. And it was the second largest drug trial, second to El Chapo. And you're like, how didn't I hear about this? How didn't you hear about this from our colleagues? It's because actually, when the narco story and the corruption story is told better from Breaking Bad or Ozark, and that's how we understand corruption in the United States, then it's very easy to just say, oh, those corrupt Mexicans. Oh, those corrupt Mexicans. And so nobody covered the story except we did. And it took off hugely, bigly, right? So suddenly we not only had a huge audience in the United States, but we had Mexico clamoring for a Spanish language version of that podcast, which, by the way, used humor. And to the chagrin of my lawyer, a bottle of tequila. I was like, you can't make this stuff up. My colleague Benile Ramirez has been investigating this guy. I need a bottle of tequila, and I don't drink. I was like, let's just do this so that we can, because this is stranger than fiction. And it took off because we did it in a way, as we like to say, we approached investigative journalism from a very feminist woman, two Latina journalists who become obsessed with this story, and then we actually laugh. So it's a good thing to have laughter in our work. Actually, it's really important. Think about the podcasts that you listen to and why you may come back to them because there is an element of humor or levity. How do we handle such serious issues, but at the same time, make it something that people, in my case, want to listen to?